All right, so a lot of you guys have struggled with when it says in terms of. So let's go over what that means. So if we have this sentence, write x in terms of y and z, the way we translate this is we're writing x, so we're getting x by itself, in terms of, so we're writing an equation, and then y and z should be the only variables in this equation. So y and z are the only. And we're going to go through an example to do all of this together, but in general, that's what that means. So whenever you're writing something in terms of something else, that's what should be in the equation. All right, so this example should look really familiar. We're trying to find the volume of a cone with radius r and height h. The volume is 300 centimeters cubed. So first, they want us to find an equation for slant height of the cone in terms of r and h. This goes back to way back to first semester of junior year, where we did all this geometry stuff. So this is what a cone looks like. Okay, go ahead and label in your radius and your height in your cone. So for me, that would be, this would be the radius, this would be the height, and then this part right here would be the slant height. So really what we're looking at is just a right triangle. So all of us should be familiar with an equation we can use for the sides of a right triangle. So that is Pythagorean's theorem. So we're going to have r squared plus h squared equals l squared. Now, they wanted us to find an equation for the slant height in terms of r and h. So that means I need to get slant height equals something with r's and h's. So I'm almost there because slant height's already by itself. The only thing we need to get rid of is that square. So I'm just going to square root both sides. And then I have slant height in terms of r and h. Okay, and that is it. All right. Next, it wants us to write down the equation for the volume of a cone in terms of r and h. So go ahead and get your formula sheets if you have them. If not, there's a page on Schoology you can use. And find the volume of a cone. So volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. And we also know from this problem, they already told us the volume is 300. So I'm going to write this as 300 equals 1/3 pi r squared h. And I have volume in terms of r's and h's. Okay? Now when it says to make h the subject of the equation, that just means to get h by itself. Get h by itself. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we have 300 equals 1/3 pi r squared h. I'm first just going to get rid of the fraction, so multiply by 3 on both sides. You get 900 is pi r squared h. And then all of this is just multiplication, so to get rid of pi r squared, we're just going to divide. And now I have h by itself is 900 over pi r squared. All right, so now for the hard part, putting everything together. We want to write the equation for the surface area in terms of r only. So first thing we have to do, if you remember from way back when, is figure out what the pieces of a cone are. So a cone is made up of a circle plus a cone curve. And if you look at your formula sheet, you've got the formula for the area of both of these. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. And the area of a cone curve is pi r l, which is slant height. So if we add those two things together, that would be the surface area of the full cone. Okay, so our whole goal is to get area in terms of R only. So the problem we have right now is we have L here, and that's not supposed to be there. So we need to look at our previous problems and see if there's any equation that we have for L, which there is. So we know that slant height equals R squared plus H squared from back in part A. So I'm going to replace L with this expression. So this would be A equals pi R squared plus pi R, and now I'm doing L is R squared plus H squared. Okay, we're still not done though, because again, I need all of this to be an R, but now I have an H here, which is in the way. So again, let's look back and see if we know anything about H, which we do from the previous problem. So H is 900 over pi R squared. So we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to replace H with this expression. So now finally we have A equals pi R squared plus pi R square root R squared plus, and then in place of H, 900 over pi R squared squared. Okay, now I know it looks really messy, but we do have the area in terms of R only. Everything in here is an R. So that's it, we're done. All right, in this video, we just reviewed what in terms of means, and we also looked at how to rearrange formulas and how to substitute different formulas into equations. Thanks for watching.